In this video, we're going to work on putting a copyright on an image. And just to kind of give you an idea what's going on here, this is a part of an oil well rig. This is the shaft going down into the ground. Let me bring up, in case you're not familiar with an oil rig, and I'm sure everybody here in this part of the country is. This right here is where this photograph comes from. This is the front. There's the rod going down, actually pulling the oil back up. There's the shaft right there, and lots of couplings, and there's water on there and all this good stuff. Zoom in there more so you can kind of get a look at what all's in the picture. And we'll just zoom back out, Control 0. And I want to put a copyright symbol on here so people, if I put this out on the web, that somebody can't take it, change the resolution and bump it up a little bit and print it out, take it as their own. Now, I don't think a lot of people are going to steal this particular image, but I like it. If I had an office, specifically, I guess more if I had an office where I was dealing with oil wells, this would be an important image to me. But anyway, I like the image, so I'm going to put a copyright symbol on here to protect it. First thing I need to do is just click on the text icon, or just press the letter T as in Tango, and we can just click anywhere inside the image. Now, right now, if I put a C in here, I'm just going to hold down my shift key and hit the letter C to make a capital C, and we can't really tell what's there. I just clicked and dragged over it to select it. We need to make this thing much bigger. So now you can start to see the C that's there. See the C. And obviously it's pretty small, but since it's over here, if you look in the layers palette over here, you see the big T. As long as that T is there, that means that we can do whatever we want with this text, and it's not going to deform. It will not pixelate. It will not get worse. This right down here, this overall image, let me turn that off. This overall image is a raster graphic, and this T, the C that's here, is a vector graphic. Vector graphics are basically written by number. It's a logarithm that will enable you to make it any size you want, bigger or smaller, and it will not lose its quality. A raster graphic, again, like this, will lose its quality whether you downsample or upsample. It will get worse. So totally different things here. The other thing that we have inside of Photoshop that is a vector graphic is right here where you see this rectangle that's there by default. If you click and hold that down, all of these are custom shape type tools or shape tools, and these are all vector graphics. So if you make a let's see, let's go to the custom shape tool. Then we can go up here at the top and click on that, and we've got all kinds of shapes. And if we click over here, we can load many more, as you can see. But if I click, say, on the light bulb and drag, I can make that light bulb any size I want to, and it retains quality because it is a vector graphic. It's not a raster like the image is behind it. Alright, let me get rid of that. And let's get back to our C that's here. I don't normally use Times New Roman for a copyright symbol. Some people use it for everything, and that's okay. I just don't like the shape that it gives me when I try to use my name in it. It looks beautiful as far as using the C for copyright. And let me just use the transform tool here real quick to make that see big, so Control T, and I'm just going to stretch it. Doesn't make any difference if I keep the shape right or not. And I'll just double click. So that's going to make a nice shape, but if I try to make my name the same way with the same font, it's harder to make look good. But for right now, we're going to use this C. All I want to do is come over here in the layers palette where the big T is and hold down the control key, and notice it turns into a little hand there with marching ants in a square. So control click on that and it loads your letter as a selection. I can turn that eyeball off, go down here to the background, make sure the background layer is now highlighted, and do a Control J. Now, I don't need this layer anymore, so I'm just going to hit delete. But notice something happened. The T is no longer there. This is now a raster graphic. So if I make it smaller or larger, it will become more problematic. Can't see it right now because it's just on top of the same area that we copied it from. So we're going to go down here to the FX icon. I call it the special effects icon. Click on that. I need to bring this up so you can see that. And I want to click on Bevel and Emboss. Bring this over so you can see everything. And you notice we already have the glass effect on here. So I can basically make that a little stronger if I want to. I can change the depth of that, the size. See how that, if you watch over there, you can smooth the edges. I like the edges to be crisp. We can also go in here on the drop down and go to Chisel Hard. We can go to Outer Bevels, Inner Bevels, Emboss, Pillow Emboss, and then the last one, Stroke Emboss, doesn't show you anything. I'm just going to use that for now. Then right down here is the contour. So we can change the gloss effect contour to jillions. If you won't see all of these normally, but if you click right here, lots of new ones will come up. Let me do that again. Right here. We can load tons more contours down here. Actually, there's a load contours, and you go find the contours inside of Photoshop, and it loads all of these at one whack. So anyway, you see lots of different effects depending on which one of these contours. And some people, they basically complain to me, well, this is time consuming. Well, once you do this, you don't have to keep redoing it. You can copy it. This is the neutral. Goes back to where you were. What I like to do is click down here on contour. I'm going to just move this out of the way a little bit and click on the contours here and see what I can come up with. Some of them are better than others, obviously. If you don't want to run anything on any of them, you don't want to use any of these, that's not a problem either. Just go back up there and click on the neutral. And how about a drop shadow? If we click over here, you can see where the drop shadow is. Maybe something that you want to use, may not. You can make it harder or softer. I kind of like it crisp like that. It really makes the definition much stronger. We can change the distance through the slider and the size, which makes it softer. And click OK. So there's our copyright symbol, and we can make it bigger at this point, but if I do a Control T now, it's not going to fit. See? It looks different than everything else because it's now out of place. I'm going to hit Escape to get out of that. But if I try to use this for my name, I'm going to just click in here and put a box in. A box and just typing text in are two different things. If I just want to put text in right now, let me throw this away. If I just want to put text in, I can click and start typing. And you can go on and on and on, and it just goes off the screen and you can't use it. So it's great for typing a word or two, but it's not great to type in a paragraph. So let me get rid of that, hit the backspace, click on the text, and then click and drag a box. And now you can type. You get the idea, I believe. So we can type and type and type and type, and we can extend the box and so on. And up here we can change how the font lines up. You also have a lot of control right here. If we click on that little box, lots of control over the text. So if I want to play around with the text, gotta select it, and I can turn all the text into caps or normal, large, all caps. So there's lots of power here. We can stretch the letters out if we want to, and just lots of power in this tool. But let me get rid of that again. I'm gonna just put a little box here and type in my name, and that's pretty large to go with the click and drag to make that bigger so it all fits on one line. That's pretty big to go in with that copyright symbol, and let's make it white. And click up. We can click on this checkbox up here to commit our text, or we can click on the move tool, and now you can see sorry about that, escape. We can actually click on the move tool now and put that wherever we want, and see it's just too big for right there, so I'm going to do a Control T on this as well, make it smaller, and we'll just put it right like that. Now normally I like to put it in to fit inside my copyright symbol, but if I do, this really makes it all so squished up that Times New Roman really looks bad. Let's see what it looks like a little bit bigger. Double click it, and now I'm going to go down. I'm just going to hold the Control key, click on the T, turn that eyeball off, go down to the background layer, and do a Control J. Now, it's there. See, there's the Steve McLaughlin. It's still tiny, but I can run the same special effect on this as I have up here. Where you see the little FX on that layer, if you right click on it, and I'm going to have to bring this over so you can see it. If you right click on that, you see that there is a copy layer. I'm going to have to bump this up a little bit. Right click, still can't see it. Let me try it again. On the special effects, copy layer style. So I come down to the other layer, click on it, right click, and paste layer style. And there it is. So let me make this bigger again so we can see what's going on. The drop shadow is terrible. It's going way out, but it's just, repeating what the drop shadow that I had up there. So if I don't like the drop shadow, I can come right over here and double click right on that drop shadow, move this out of the way a little bit, and we can physically move that drop shadow. And I turned off global light because if I use global light, it's changing the shadow on everything, and we don't want to change the shadow on anything specifically but the font, so I can control it individually now. And I can use my arrow keys. No, I can't. Sorry, lied to you. We'll put it like that. So I'm going to click OK. And that doesn't look horrible, but the name here is really distracting in the rest of the image because it's so big. So like I say, I don't recommend using Times New Roman. The C looks good, the name doesn't, and you don't really need to have the name in there. But let me try something else really quick. Okay, I've typed a new C in, and it's also Times Roman. I'm gonna just double click on the T over here with my left mouse, and it highlights it. If I want to go through the different fonts and see how it's going to look, I can click up here to highlight that, and then I can use my arrow keys to look at the different fonts that are on my computer. I can go like this as well, and we see a little tiny sample of the way the font looks. A lot of times I will start all the way to the top and work my way down, and obviously that C is not going to look good. I'm going to transform this, do a Control T to make this bigger so I can better see the changes that it's going to make, and I can make it smaller again without any repercussions because of the fact that this is a vector graphic. Alright, let's double click to select it, click up here to highlight that, and we can go through here and see what these are going to look like. Some of them are fat, some of them are skinny, some of them go off the screen. That's like an Art Deco. I want something that's kind of like that. It's not my favorite, but I just wanted to show you a different font. And I can do a Control T again, and I can drag this out some more. And I can also double click in there to go ahead with the transform. Let me transform that one more time. I'll make this a little bit smaller and do a Control T. I'm going to fill the screen up a little bit more with that. Double click. Alright, I'm going to turn that back off, and I'm going to put my name in here again. It's going to have the same font, Cambria. So click and drag a box. I'd probably be better off if I see how big that is. Let's do it. Select all, Control A, see if any of it's still in there. 300 points, that's why. Let's do a 12. Yeah, it just shaved off my stuff is what it did. See if I can see it better. Yeah, there it is. Looks like it's all there. So let's make it bigger. And bigger yet. And see what that looks like. That's going to be too big when we put that C in. Let's see. Yeah, it won't fit in there too good. And I can also go up here. Let's double click my name again. And we can also go in here and make it bold, so we can fatten that font up without affecting the other one, because I want it to be able to be seen. Now, all I need again is the outline, and I've got two now. I've got the big C, and I've got the Stephen P. McLaughlin. So what I'm going to do is Control click on the Steve McLaughlin and select it. Come down here and hold down the Control and the Shift key and click, and I also have the C selected now. If you had a third layer with something you wanted selected, you would just do the Control Shift, click on it as well, and it would add to the selection. So let's turn these two off, and let's go down here to the special, or actually we need to click on the background layer. I'm getting ahead of myself. Do a Control J. Now all of that is on its own layer. So now we will do the FX, and I gotta make this smaller so you can see it. FX, and I'm gonna go to Bevel and Emboss. Make this bigger again. And you can see it over there, but it's small. Let's make that bigger. So the Stephen P. McLaughlin doesn't look bad. Let's go down here and put a drop shadow on it. Let's go to the contour and see what we can do there real quick. If there's any that we like. Again, though, we didn't change this up here at all. Change the depth if we want. The size can be destructive. Again, do we want chisel hard or smooth? Chisel soft. And outer or inner bevel. Totally up to us. It's your call. You're the artist. Let's see. Pillow emboss. Looks interesting. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And I'm going to make this bigger. So you can see we've got the effect. I need to do something with the drop shadow. Let's go back over here to the layers panel. Double click on the drop shadow and bring that shadow out a little bit. Turn the global light off so it's not controlling everything. But everything is on one layer, so I can't separate what's happening there. Oops, Control Z. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I forgot my name and the C are all on one layer, so if I move the drop shadow now, it's going to affect both. That's okay. It looks pretty good right there. So that's my take on using different fonts and so forth. The beauty is you're the artist. You can do whatever way you want. You might not even want to put your name in it. You know, that's cool too. It is a little more distracting with the name, and I could have made this a lot smaller to fit inside the C. Again, all those things are your call. Talk to y'all later.